Secret Service is currently detaining Jay Carey. He's a 20-year Army veteran, combat veteran, who just burnt a flag in front of the White House in protest of Donald Trump's executive order prohibiting the burning of flags.
My name is Jay Carey. I'm a retired disabled combat veteran, serving over 20 years in the United States Army. I fought for every single one of your rights to express yourself and however you feel that you may want to express yourself. There's a First Amendment right to burn the American flag. The Archbishop in that house right there signed an executive order today saying that it was illegal to burn the American flag. No president can make a law, period. No Congress shall make a law infringing on First Amendment rights. I'm burning this flag as a protest to that illegal fascist president that sits in that house. Do this for every single one of you American citizens. We burn this flag in protest to that president who feels that it's his right to do whatever he wants, make whatever law he wants.
That's my good friend, Jolly Good Ginger, on the ground in Washington, D.C., keeping track of all of the insanity that is being caused by convicted felon Donald Trump. The latest was just yesterday. Executive order, quote, prosecuting burning of the American flag. Donald Trump, making this proclamation, wanted to walk through it because, as you saw, that combat veteran, his name is Jay Carey. His last name is spelled C-A-R-E-Y. He was arrested by the Secret Service. And according to media reports, he was arrested by Secret Service around 6:15 last night, quote, for igniting an object. Once in custody, the Secret Service turned Mr. Carey over to the United States Park Police. That'll become relevant in just a minute or so. But I wanted to walk through this latest insane executive order from Donald Trump. Why? Well, one, because not only does it fly in the face of precedent by the United States Supreme Court, but two, we have to really pay attention and focus on the language of these executive orders because, let me be clear, okay? They're not the law. Donald Trump could issue 1 million executive orders. The executive orders themselves are not law. But when he directs or he instructs federal agencies to go ahead and do certain things, those federal agencies, because all they do is kowtow to what he wants, they start implementing policies and procedures within those departments and those agencies. And that's what's impacting us as Americans. You know, Donald Trump has completely neutered the United States Congress at this rate. Republicans standing by silently while their jobs have basically been usurped by self-professed King Donald Trump. So when you see something like a presidential action of an executive order of this type, and you see stuff like this, by the authority vested in me as president by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, it kind of has to make you laugh, right? I mean, because think about it. He may be president, but he certainly doesn't respect or abide by the United States Constitution, as we've seen over and over again. And he certainly does not respect or abide by the laws of the United States of America. Within the executive order, Trump says that desecration of the American flag is, quote, uniquely offensive and provocative. It's a statement of contempt, hostility, and violence against our nation. And yet, what have we seen happen with the American flag, courtesy of Trump? Well, take a look at this, right? This is a video of Donald Trump at a CPAC, and he's molesting our American flag. You think the American flag needs to have him kissing and hugging it in this way? Lord knows where that mouth has been. But it's not just Donald Trump himself. He's desecrated the American flag. How? Well, take a look at this. Who needs his ugly mug on the United States flag? He sells it too, right? It's merchandise. People are actually making profit over his ugly face on our American flag. And then, of course, the quintessential example of the uniquely offensive, provocative desecration of our American flag that does reflect a statement of contempt, hostility, and violence against our nation? Well, this. January 6, 2021. There could be no greater example of the desecration of our flag than allowing insurrectionists to come and deface our United States Capitol, commit horrible crimes of violence and property damage, and then pardon all of them, thereby excusing all of their behavior, right? The executive order says that burning this representation of America may incite violence and riot. Shit, he should know. January 6th was done for him, by him, and because of him. And so, yeah, I think this man has some context about the inciting of violence and riot. The EO also says this: notwithstanding the Supreme Court's rulings on First Amendment protections, the court has never held that the American flag desecration conducted in a manner that's likely to incite imminent lawless action or that is action amounting to fighting words is constitutionally protected. Okay, man. This guy thinks that he knows the law, but we're always here to fact check this SOB because he has no idea what the hell that he's talking. Let's go down the memory lane of the law as we do here at your channel, and let's talk about that Supreme Court flag burning case so that when you talk about this, you have context and you have history. Alrighty. So back in 1984, a man by the name of Gregory Lee Johnson set fire to the United States flag outside of the Republican National Convention as it was taking place in Dallas. Texas is going to play a very important role in this. So Mr. Johnson sets the U.S. flag on fire outside of the RNC convention in Dallas. Why? Because he wanted to do that in the exercise of his free speech opposition to not only the nuclear wars, but Republican policies. Smart guy. As a result, Mr. Johnson sentenced to a year in prison and fined $2,000 for violating what? A Texas law against desecration of a venerated object. Mr. Johnson's case goes all the way to the United States Supreme Court, which then ruled in a 5-4 decision that the burning of the American flag constitutes political free speech pursuant to the First Amendment. It's free speech. It's protected speech pursuant to the First Amendment. Justice William Brennan Jr., who wrote the majority opinion in that 5-4 decision for SCOTUS, said the following, quote, "We do not consecrate the flag by punishing its desecration, for in doing so, we dilute the freedom that this cherished emblem represents." I mean, folks, I get it. I respect and revere our American flag. I respect and revere what it stands for. But when you have somebody like convicted felon Donald Trump desecrating the White House, the office, and the presidency, then sometimes an act of protest and opposition includes burning the American flag. Because the American flag may be an object and a venerated one, but it does stand for something. So the thing is, Donald Trump and others that are opposed to the exercise of the First Amendment, the burning of the American flag is an expression of protest and opposition because the American flag is being used by Donald Trump in ways that it was not intended to be used for. The American flag is supposed to stand for freedom, patriotism, democracy. It's supposed to stand for the idea that people of all walks of life, religions, colors, backgrounds, cultures, races, that they can come together and live in peace and live in harmony and create an incredibly beautiful fabric of a community and a country together in a place called the United States of America. But Donald Trump is using the American flag and other significant symbols of America to be able to promote hatred, to promote fascism, to promote the great replacement theory, to venerate not the ideals of democracy, but to venerate the ideas of white Christian nationalism. He is whitewashing our country and he's destroying our democracy, and he's using the American flag and other significant American symbols to do it. So, in the end, after this Supreme Court decision back in 1989, that ruling from the Supreme Court actually nullified flag desecration laws across the country. So then Congress passed a law that criminalized flag desecration, and then the Supreme Court struck that down. So look, there's been challenges to this. And in the end, the First Amendment has prevailed. But what Trump's banking on is the fact that he has stacked the United States Supreme Court now with an uber conservative majority of 6. So yeah, it was a 5-4 decision back in the 80s on this flag burning issue. So Trump is hoping, strike that. He has instructed Pamela Joe to go find a case. How do I know? I'm not a mind reader. I mean, I could be. How do I know? Well, let's go back to this executive order, folks, because it's very clear. Not only is the Attorney General going to prioritize the enforcement of our nation's criminal and civil laws against acts of American flag desecration, he tacks on, quote, consistent with the First Amendment, but we all know he doesn't give a shit about the United States Constitution, let alone the First Amendment. He then says he wants the Attorney General to, quote, pursue litigation to clarify the scope of the First Amendment exceptions in this area, end quote. That's a directive to law lackey Pamela Joe Bondi, the Attorney General of the United States. It's a hammer in search of a nail, people. They, as in Trump, MAGA, they want Pamela Joe to find a case, the perfect test case to make it to the Supreme Court. Why? Because he wants to criminalize this conduct that otherwise has been protected First Amendment speech. Then to add insult to injury, because what did I just say a couple of minutes ago? The plan is to make this country white, right? White Christian nationalism. Let's promote the Great Replacement theory. Let's make sure that we don't get minorities coming into this country. What's he doing now? In this executive order, he then instructs the Secretary of State, the Attorney General, and the Secretary of Homeland Security, Tweedledee, Tweedledum, and Tweedledumbest, within their respective authorities, he tells them that they shall deny, prohibit, terminate, or revoke the visas, residence permits, naturalization proceedings, and other immigration benefits and seek removal from the United States whenever there has been an appropriate determination that a foreign national has engaged in American flag desecration activity under circumstances that permit the exercise of such remedies. He's giving these federal agencies more weapons to be able to remove people from the United States. So to be clear, if you are a foreign national and you do something like a, quote, flag desecration activity, that's not your First Amendment at play, right? None of that is applicable to you. Now it is grounds to revoke your visa, to get you deported, and to get you removed from this country. I mean, last I checked, most of the people on January 6th talk about desecrating our American flag. Most of those people, they weren't foreign nationals. So back in Trump term 1.0, Trump actually promoted the idea of a constitutional amendment to outlaw desecrating the flag. And he's called for jailing of up to a year on social media, etc. He's called for jail up to a year if you, quote, desecrate the American flag. I mean, it's ridiculous that we talk about this and that we're finding ourselves having this conversation, and yet totally, par for the course. So you remember that guy that I showed you at the beginning of this video? That guy, his name is Jay Carey. Number one, Mr. Carey, thank you for your service. Thank you for your service as a veteran. Unbelievably grateful for you and what you have done for all of us. Number two, thank you for your service yesterday in burning that American flag in protest. As we heard you say, this was because of Donald Trump and his draconian, horrific policies that are destroying our country. But ladies and gentlemen, I have good news. Check out this update, again, courtesy of my friend, Jolly Good Ginger.
He's out. Okay, so if you saw the video earlier of the veteran that was burning the flag in protest of Donald Trump's executive order, this is him. He's out of jail. So walk us through. You got picked up by Secret Service, then what?
Yep, got searched, handcuffed, put in the back of one of their rides, Sat there for a while. They were arguing with Park police on who had jurisdiction. Park finally had jurisdiction. They put me in the back of their car. A shitty ass fucking car to ride in the back of, by the way. Wound up back over at their holding cell, their D cell, as they call it, D1.
Yeah, you were District 1.
Yeah, District 1.
I found out, yeah.
Got, you know, they felt the need to search me 3 times. So what, 3-4 hours?
Yeah.
4 hours?
It's been about 4 hours right now.
So 4 hours, and then
So what they eventually charge you with?
they charged me with lighting a fire in a park.
So so to make sure everybody understands your message, why did you do this to begin with?
I did this in protest of what Donald Trump did with that executive order saying that it was illegal to burn an American flag. He can't make orders, and I want to put it to the test, so I did. And
you're not in jail for a year.
I'm not in jail for a year.
So what happened? As we see, Mr. Kerry was released from jail. And according to Mr. Kerry, he was charged with violating a statute that has nothing to do with flag desecration. Why? Because it's protected speech. He was charged with the following. I pulled it up because I wanted to read it with you, okay? National Parks, 36 CFR Section 2.13, fires. The following are prohibited. This is subsection A, sub 1. Lighting or maintaining a fire except in designated areas or receptacles and under conditions that may be established by the superintendent. That's what it says here. Mr. Kerry wasn't charged with a, quote, crime of desecration of the American flag. Why? Because it doesn't exist. Because there is no crime. Even though Donald Trump wants to criminalize free speech under the First Amendment, that's not possible. Stupid, stupid man, Donald Trump, doesn't know any of our fucking laws. Number 2, until and unless the Supreme Court overturns precedent, the burning of the American flag as an act of protest or an opposition is an expression of politically protected and constitutionally protected, according to the First Amendment, free speech. You don't like it? Tough shit. See, this is the thing that Trump and others need to understand, those that support him in this. That's the irony of living in this country of free speech, this country of politically protected and constitutionally protected conduct. You're entitled to your shitty opinions about the value of somebody like Donald Trump, and I'm entitled to my wise, fact and evidence-based opinion that Donald Trump sucks. But see, that's just the discourse that we're allowed to do. And if, like our honorable veteran, Jay Carey, if he wants to do that, if he wants to burn the flag, whether you agree or you don't, it's protected conduct. Another waste of time by the orange turd, but something worth covering. Why? Because these are the types of things that this SOB wakes up and instead of being like, I think I want a cappuccino instead of a latte today, instead of thinking, maybe my cankles are a sign that I am on my way to death's door, instead of waking up and saying, you know what, maybe I should just retire because I am an old, dementia, brain-addled fart. He takes these flights of fancy, he issues these insane executive orders, but then he directs his lackeys to do something about it, and that's where they become dangerous, and that is why we talk about them here at the Katie Phang News Channel. I'm grateful, always, for the privilege of your time. Continue to be mad, continue to be outraged, continue to demand accountability. Please, please, always stay engaged, because we are not only going to survive this together, we're going to thrive. Trust me. I'll see you on the other side. Katie Phang here. We launched the Katie Phang News Channel in partnership with the Midas Touch Network so we could bring you the latest in legal and political news. Straight, no chaser. So if you're a fellow truth teller, hit that subscribe button and share the word about this channel so we can build a high information America together.